Hey guys, assalamu alaikum. Pleasant good day to everyone. Right, is the Imam in the house? Your brother Aki. Alright, so as the caption mentioned, and it says the lawlessness in West Indies cricket. Right, so we're gonna address that today. Welcome to another episode of Over Extra Cover with the Imam. Right, guys. So let's speak about the lawlessness that is going on with West Indies cricket at the moment. Alright? Good. So recently the West Indies played against Afghanistan in Dubai, and this is a series prior to the T20 World Cup that is starting in February in India and Sri Lanka. And most of West Indies senior players, they were unavailable, and some rested. And the captain of this T20 team, Shai Hope, he was unavailable for selection, but he was playing in a Bush League. He was playing Bush League cricket in South Africa. His team, his country, that he is a captain of, is going to play a series, an international series, prior to the World Cup. And he is unavailable for selection. Can you imagine this nonsense? Huh? The captain of the T20 team, Mr. Shai Hope, refused to play for his national team, but he is busy playing Bush League cricket. This is the lawlessness in the cricket. This is the lawlessness in the cricket. Alright? And on top of that, he's a contracted player. Mr. Shai Hope is a contracted player by Cricket West Indies. And he is unavailable for selection. Listen, we can't make up these things. Alright? Can you imagine the T20 skipper? He is unavailable for selection for national duties, but yet he is busy playing Bush League cricket. Alright? A contracted player, the captain of the team, and he has made it clear that he is not going to represent his national team, but he will remain playing Bush League cricket. This is utter nonsense. In that very league, that SAT20 that is currently going on in South Africa, players from Afghanistan, Rashid Khan, the captain of Afghanistan, and Mujibur Rahman, these are players who are also part of the SAT20 league, and they opted out and went and played for the national team. And Rashid Khan, he was the captain for his franchise there in South Africa. But he left and he went to fulfill national duties. This is the difference between other cricketers and our cricketers. And this nonsense is supported and is allowed by the CWI, their directors, and the management. Now we can understand if a player is not contracted. Alright? But a contracted player, more so your captain. Huh? A contracted player, and more so your captain, refusing selection and making himself unavailable, but yet playing in another bush league. Wow. My goodness. On top of that, the test captain of the West Indies team, Ruston Chase, he also declined selection and stayed and played in the SAT20. And he is our test captain. You wonder to know what loyalty these guys them have for our cricket. What loyalty these fellas they have for our cricket. The T20 captain refused selection, is unavailable, and now the T20 captain. Wow. Contracted players, you know, both contracted. Both of these players, they are contracted players. And both of them, they are the captains. Ruston Chase is the captain of the test team. And Shea Hope, he is the captain of the white ball team, 50 overs and T20s. And both of them refused to play for the national team just ahead of a World Cup, opting to play Bush League cricket. Wow. This here is nonsense to the highest degree. This is a lawlessness that continues to happen in West Indies cricket. Mr. Darren Sammy, the head coach and the sole and only selector, he is reported to have said that the West Indies board does not own the players. We understand that. But not when they are contracted. This board, they have a right over you as long as you are contracted. And they can tell you when you are needed. They can tell you when you are needed for national duties. Alright? So, they are the ones who are held responsible for allowing this breakdown in our cricket. Now the players, as we can see, will always choose bush leagues and money over national duties. They will always do this. Alright? They don't have that loyalty anymore. Because why? Even the captains, they are deserting the team. Wow. So CWI and their management is held responsible for this nonsense. And if I was part of that management, I would say to these players, you're either available for selection or you'll not be on the World Cup squad. Simple as that. Simple as that. Make yourself available, because why? We are heading into a World Cup. And half of the team is not available. And this is also coming from Miles Bascom, the director of cricket. He is saying that this series, Afghanistan series, will be used as a benchmark to select players for the World Cup. When half of your team is not available, then how can you judge selection? Huh? Half of the team is not available. Your captain is not available. Senior players, contracted players, they are not available. Then how can you judge selection based on this. This is utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. So the board is held responsible. But you see, they are not accountable to no one. This is the pride and the arrogance with these guys. They are not accountable to no one, and this needs to be looked. It needs to be looked at, the management structure of CWI, because they are taking our cricket to the gutters, and they are arrogant and full of ego. Look at the nonsense that is happening for years, and nothing is being done because they are not accountable to anyone. All right? Imagine you are going into a World Cup and your core and main players, they are not available. Then how can you be successful? Every single team is preparing and they are naming their teams and they're going into preparation, trying to have the right combination. But West Indies, up to the last series that they will play, they'll be looking at players to play in this World Cup team. This is, stupidity. Why don't you select your team and use them in these two series, Afghanistan and they're heading to South Africa, to get your combination, to pinpoint roles for your players. Give them the opportunity and let them go out there and express themselves. But here we are, the team is not conformed. Players, they are not in their roles as yet. Players are busy fighting for position when they're supposed to be at ease and relaxed and focus for the World Cup. This is the lawlessness that is happening in West Indies cricket. And you want to know, when will it end? When will it end? When is it going to stop? So contracted players, they must make themselves available for selection, especially prior to a World Cup. How can you refuse selection and at the same time you are playing bush leagues? The SA-T20 is a bush league. How can that be more valuable than playing for your national team, going into a World Cup? But this is where the cricket is at the moment. Poor management, no respect from our players. Blatantly, they are refusing selection, and it is just going downhill. And this is because of poor management. Other boards, they are restricting their players to 2 and 3 leagues. They can only play 2 and 3 leagues. When it's national duty, they have to return. But not West Indies cricket. Not West Indies cricket. The captain, he can make himself unavailable and he can go and play bush league. Contracted players can refuse selection and still given the priority to come back in the next series. How can we build a squad like this? How can we, go into the World Cup with a team that is formidable, a team that is gelling together, playing together? How can you go into a World Cup like this? Up to the last series, you are hoping players will perform and this one will come good and that one will come good. So what about those players now who are part of these series, Afghanistan and South Africa? And what about if they perform? Let's say they come good, and these players that have refused selection and they're unavailable and they are resting and they're prioritizing other leagues, how are they going to come back into the team now? We are at a position where the captain of this team, his place is in jeopardy. and other senior players. Because if these players who are part of the Afghanistan and South Africa series, if they perform, they must be in the World Cup squad. And all those who refuse selection and who are resting and they are playing bush leagues, they have to remain on the bench and at the sidelines until after the World Cup. It's very simple as that. Alright? So this nonsense and this lawlessness needs to stop, and this board must be held accountable. They must be held accountable for mismanagement and taking our cricket down to the gutters. I hope CARICOM and the leaders, they can intervene and put these people to task. Because what else is there to come from this board? What else is there to come? Look at the president. Failure after failure, he's still there. Even as a politician, he still have the guts to remain squatting in a vital position. You don't want to resign. Look at the coach. Failures after failures, and he's still a head coach. For the past 10 series, we have lost about 8. And the 2 that we have won against Bangladesh and Ireland. 2 weak side. Look at the coach, Mr. Floyd Reefer. I've spoken about this before. The man averages 9.25 in test cricket and averaging less than 15, 14 point something. And this man is the head coach of our team. Failures after failures. What is the management doing, the directors? What are the directors doing about this? How long is Darren Sammy going to be there? You're not getting results. You are seeing a set of inconsistencies in their plan, in their management, and everything that they are doing. They don't have a direction. You're going into a World Cup. You cannot even name this squad yet. You're still fishing around. No wonder Afghanistan, they trashed us 2-1. When you go to South Africa, what will happen? So, this is the lawlessness and the nonsense that is happening with our cricket. Alright? Players are allowed to do what they want because they have a weak board, they have a weak management. Alright? And they are allowing the players to do whatever they want. Imagine a player is contracted. He is a captain. And national duty calls and he is unavailable for selection. Huh? Can you imagine this? Huh? Another seasoned player, the test captain, he is unavailable too. My question is, does West Indies cricket don't have no money in it? In terms of you have to play free? When these players playing for West Indies, are they playing for free? Is it so bad that they are playing for free? Wow. Are they so, all about their money? That West Indies cricket is not paying them or valuing their service? Yes, we understand the money is not like what is in these leagues. But you're not playing for free. Alright? You are still given a contract. You are still given a match fee. And yet, you're making yourself unavailable for selection. Man, I don't know what is going on. I really don't know what is going on. And I do hope that something is done to fix this situation. And this lies with the management. It lies with the management, and also CARICOM needs to step in. CARICOM needs to step in and put these fellas to accountability. Alright? Because it will not stop and changes will not come. Alright? So we need to see these people be held accountable. Alright? And they need to do better than what they are doing right now. You can't tell me that a player is contracted and he's unavailable for selection and you can't tell that player anything. You cannot even pull him in for, a meeting or a talk or something. This is nonsense. This is madness. Alright? So, West Indies cricket is heading down a road. We all know the road that it is heading down in. Alright? And someone needs to stand up and say something. Alright? So, the Imam, as you know, is always vocal, is fearless. Alright? Always saying, what is the truth, and giving his opinion without any biasness. Alright? And I will continue to do that. I will continue to do that. Alright? Hopefully that, someone can listen and take some, advice and put aside their ego. Need to put aside their ego. Alright? Because the cricket is bigger than anyone. The cricket is bigger than anyone. Any board, any president, any player, any coach. Alright? It is bigger than anyone. So, this lawlessness and this nonsense need to stop. And the board needs to put their foot down and let these players know that, hey, what happened? If you're not available for national duty and you're contracted, then we're going to ignore you. Just like how you're ignoring us and you're throwing us under the bus, we're going to ignore you also. We are going to ignore you. Alright? We don't need these players. After all, most of them, if not all of them, they are failures. They are big time failures. When they play in these bush leagues, they are failing miserably. Sorry, they are performing when they play in these bush leagues. As soon as you put on that West Indies jersey on them, put on the maroon, what happens? They are failing. Because why? There is no dignity. There is no love for the team and the game. Alright? And they are prioritizing other leagues and other teams and other franchises. Alright? Because they're all for the money, and there's where the loyalty lies. But it is West Indies cricket, national cricket and West Indies cricket, that has given them this platform, that has given them recognition, that has allowed them that platform to perform and to be selected in these leagues. It is West Indies cricket. And look how these guys are treating the cricket. Alright, look how they are treating the cricket. So, the Imam is saying that this lawlessness must stop. And it cannot continue to go on for any longer. Alright? And this team that is going to this World Cup, we don't know who are the members. We don't know who will be part of the final squad. Because why? Again, the board is missing the trick. When they're supposed to name this squad and let this squad play against Afghanistan and South Africa, they are still fishing around and still looking to see who will perform and who will be available and so on and so forth. Alright? So I'm hoping that some changes can happen, and these people, they can able to do the things that are needed and necessary for our cricket. All right. So the Imam is saying that this lawlessness must stop and it cannot continue any longer. All right, and the board must be held accountable. All right. So